to go ahead and put the X-axis and the Y-axis in automatic tracking mode while I talk. And again, we're powering this from this little Ryobi cordless 12-volt battery, just to demonstrate that how little power it takes. The tracking system is self-powered. These sensors power the relays to make it track, to make it move. And in standby, it doesn't draw anything. So the only power consumed is by the motors, which is very low power. But I want to take a look at these, some of our parts here. And you know, they're pretty heavy-duty steel, you know. So I just wanted to demonstrate that, you know, we're not selling some little aluminum rinky-dink thing. You know, this is something that you can build on and something that's going to last you forever. We got our little Chinese scale here. Now the parts are powder coated. Obviously this is going to get a second coat. Otherwise they would be thrown around like a madman. Wow. Anyway, we're at 12.6 pounds for that one. Now this is the drop-down Y bracket, and this one has the end on it for the hybrid, but they're both about the same weight, 7.5 pounds. This is the upper, this is a cross member of the tie rod here that ties it all together, and that's 5 pounds. This is the upper Y-axis bracket that also ties it together. We like redundancy. And that's 8.6 pounds. This is the jack that we use for the hybrid. That bracket I just threw with the ring on the bottom mounts onto this ring here, so you have a nice solid tight fit. The motor comes off. Different drop down bracket, and then we have a tie rod that ties the foot to the actuating. So this controls the height of it, and this is rated for 2,000 pounds, and that's 15.5 pounds there. And this is a piece of unistrut. This is what we use for the finish, for the open end, so that you can mount your cross members to here when you build out. You're to build out in this direction. This is the axis that goes 150 degrees. That's 15 degrees off the horizon. Although they are adjustable, you can adjust everything on the system. You don't need to have that much movement available if you don't want it. This is a piece of unistrut. This is about 4 feet long. Well, 4.5 feet long. What you get with the Sunlackey is you get 4 pieces that are 5 feet long, and that's your basic mount, and then it joins up in the center. And 4.5 piece weighs 7.3, so it would be about 8.5 pounds probably per 8 pounds per piece. So that's another 16 pounds. So you know, it starts adding up. So that's why it's designed to break down for shipping, to make easy shipping. Now, the motors, obviously, you'd be getting brand new ones shipped right from our distributor, and whether you go with the single motor or the 2-motor unit, and most everything else comes directly from us. And you can buy more unistrut at any building store, or you know, if you use wooden beams, it's really much up to you. The only thing is, when you build out, you just want to make sure that you have some like solid 10-foot ones parallel to this to stiffen it up in the center, you know, for extremely large arrays. Now, our website is sunlackey.com, and the reason for Sunlackey's existence is to create a situation where people can take power into their own hands and generate your own electricity, so you're not really a slave to the system as much. Generally, people ask me, oh, how many panels do you need to switch your house over? It's not that simple. So I'm not going to try to fool you, but if you want to get water out of your well and there's no electricity, here's a nice, quiet, silent way to do it. Or cook a can of Spam or whatever the need may be. But now I'm going to move this around because we're getting into the shadow of the building. So I'm just going to drag it around so that you can see how it tracks the sun. Okay, now you can see the trackers pulling back into position. Now that we've turned it to demonstrate, because this is the longer moving axis, and the sun sets in this direction here. So we were getting in the shade of the building. But anyway, the two-axis tracking system is around $1,600, which is about the price of 2-3 panels nowadays. Used to be the price of one real good panel. But the price of solar panels has come down a lot. You can get them for, I've seen them as low as just over $1 a watt. And then also you have people that are making their own out of kits. So either way, this is the ideal starting block is a Sunlackey Systems two-axis tracker. And the reasons for that are that it's an expandable system, so you can build on more panels if you want to. You get to a point where you want to just put another unit up and start with more panels, or you want to start with a farm right off the bat, whatever you want to do. It's all designed into it's a simple concepts, and for durability and reliability for years, for a lifetime of operation, and which is why I offer the lifetime warranty on all the parts that I make. Obviously, all the components are used. It's just a fraction of their abilities. As you can see, the sensors are just barely hitting the sun, so I believe that their life is going to be a lot longer, their life expectancy. The motors run very infrequently and under minimal load because of balancing of the array. And you can see there's another little tiny panel on the top left, and that is just a little maintainer panel to maintain your battery that moves the motors, the little cordless battery I showed you that it's running on. It's not hooked up now, but I'm just as a demonstration. But you can't really say how much power it's going to consume, because every array is going to be different. So the best way to figure out is to actually, overdo it, a little bit. If you use a motorcycle battery, or if you go with a car battery, or you just tie it into your 12-volt system, that's all fine. But if you want to isolate the batteries for that, and you want to have the proper amount of solar, you have to experiment, because you're going to have such factors as wind and the overall weight of your array, and that's going to determine how much energy it takes to actually move it. Now, everything is on pillow block bearings, and they all have grease fittings, and so you almost have a frictionless surface there. As close as you can get. So the only thing is going to be the moving of the units with the balancing. So that's why we recommend building off the bottom. If you were to build off the bottom of the two rails, this is the top of the rail, and you put the spring nuts inside here, and so you can mount your panels real easily, or you put your cross members through the bottom with these bolts every 2 inches, and they're slotted bolts. You can really fit it to about anything. And you have the two rails, so you come out from this one across this one out, and this one across this one out, and you do a grid work like that, and then you want to have a couple of solid 10-footers in there, one on either side, because this does go to a tie rod. We beefed it up real nice. Tubular steel for non-twisting, and we did tie in another bracket onto this angle iron here, just to make it quite a bit stronger than it needs to be. It's always good to be stronger than it needs to be. Again, a lot of these parts, like the main X-axis, it's hollow steel, but this is a heavy piece. We were going to use the 1-inch tabs. We decided to go with the 2-inch tabs for the mounting. And this is the pins, 3/4 inch bolts it uses at all the main locations. So where the bottom bracket goes on here, and you bolt it through. This is the ultimate washer here, a piece of plate steel welded on. So, and then we have insert in here to keep that from collapsing. So we tried to make it big proof even, and simple to operate, simple to put together. Basically, you just have For each axis you have a switch for the manual or automatic mode. And for manual mode, you have extend and retract for each one. So if you're in automatic mode, it's just going from the sensors. Again, it's driven by sunlight. So if you don't have direct sunlight, it won't track. So it doesn't matter if you don't have sunlight anyways, just ambient light, you're going to get a little bit of trickle out of that. But for the most part, the sun comes out, and as you can see, you really can't get any closer than that. I've seen a lot of other trackers that have GPS and they claim to be within 1 degree. Well, as long as you're within 30 degrees, you're okay. 20 degrees is ideal. The power output of the solar panel is a function of the cosine of the angle to the sun. So if you're at 90 degrees, then you're going to get 100%. Now, if you are off a little bit, it's not going to drop too much until you really start getting up. But the other problem is that there's 2 axes on a solar panel, just like there's 2 axes on everything. And so when both are tuned in, what can I say? There you have it. So, thank you for watching another Sun Tracker video, and we'll see you again soon. Welcome back to Sunlackey Systems. We've turned the trailer around, and I put it in manual mode, so it doesn't automatically track. And now I'll put the X and Y axis back in automatic mode to demonstrate how it will come back and track the sun. I'll get up here in the shade in the meantime. Now it moves a little slow. These are 36 volt motors that I'm using on this unit here. They'll be going with 24 volt motors. I've used both, and unfortunately I've used all my 24 volt motors on other projects right now, so this is just for demonstration purposes. It'll move a lot faster, and also if you stack the batteries for override operation, the power harness has 3 wires: ground wire, 12 volt, and 24 volt. So you can add another battery in series, even if it's just AA batteries, rechargeables or something, just for moving it fast when you want to do maintenance or installation work on it. Makes it a little handier to be able to move it a little faster. So the control system is set up with Okay, we're just tracking the sun, and just want to continue talking about Sunlackey Systems. We started to make it possible for people to start getting, realistic for people to start getting a solar panel, solar use for themselves. The grid is not designed to be real reliable, and you never know what's going on in the future with other emergencies and disasters and things. Having your own power, energy is power. So, we ever come to a time where it's bartering, I guess whoever can produce electricity might be able to eat better than somebody that can't produce electricity. Not to get too morbid or too depressing, but like I said, it moves a lot faster on the 24 volt motors. The wind's kicking up a little bit. I use the boat trailer as a mobile platform because it's got a low center of gravity and the wide wheels and the long neck on it, so it's real stable. So you wouldn't want to go real tall. So I have to limit myself to this type of array, although I've had another on the side with hinges. It'll hinge down for transit. And but you want to make sure that it's not going to be too large, because as you can see, as it continues to track, it just keeps the sun at that point right there. So it's going to keep tracking. So the extended movements of the Sunlackey tracker, I feel are very important. 150 degrees, basically out of the box. If you want to tune that down, you can. It's easy to set the stops and adjust where the motor's clamped onto the motor clamp. And again, with the 80-degree axis of the Y axis, the moving axis, that is adjustable. pole mount is because poles is universally easy to get. And also, once you have the unit mounted on there, you actually just turn it on the pole. Whether you're over top of the pole or you're inside the pole, you can still rotate it. And then you want to let us know what size pole you're going to be using to mount it on so that we can supply the appropriate clamping at the bottom. And if you do use a 3-inch mount, a little different than our mount. Now this is our standard mount bracket here. I forgot to weigh this one. But it's pretty heavy duty. So this either drops into a 4-inch pipe or it'll sit over top of a smaller pipe, and you just use a little bit of shimming just to tighten it up. And then at the bottom, this clamps down to the pipe also. On our model, you can't see it from here, but we have the little tab coming out of the 3-inch pipe, the riser. That's what size this is. So if you want to mount them on 3-inch pipes, because 3-inch pipe is something that's easier for you to get, just let us know and we'll give you a different size so that it'll slip right in. Now we just had a cloud, so we don't have direct sunlight anymore. And this is Nevada, so we don't have a lot of clouds here, so we'll save for the moment. But it stops tracking. So in rainy days, windy days, anything like that, it's not going to be doing anything. It's just activated by direct sunlight. I felt that was the simplest way to go. There's no electronics. There's nothing to be damaged by a high-energy pulse. You basically have tuned relays and photovoltaic cells. And you have simple motors geared down. These motors are rated at 6,000 pounds. Just for fun, I was going to mount a vehicle. I have an old convertible mount on top of a tracker out front here, but I like to do crazy things like that. So anyway, whether you want to buy 1 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 units, obviously we have different pricing for that. And we certainly welcome dealer inquiries. And again, our website is sunlackey.com. Another on the control systems, on the remotes that we have coming out soon, the remote control units. You can take a computer cord, and we tested it through 1,000 foot of category 5 wire. So basically, if you can crimp the wire or crimp the connectors on the end of a Cat 5 and run it through a conduit or run it, however you want to another unit. We also tested it on low voltage. I tested it on 10 volts instead of 12 volts or 14, 10 to 14, 12 to 14, which is what you would be running on normally. Just to make sure that there's absolutely no chance for failure on this. And basically it's simple circuits, just continuity. There's no electronics involved. Even though I'm using the computer cord, it's just wire. So plugging the computer cord to the socket, all of our control units have the socket on there for a slave model, for a slave unit. So then you plug into a slave board,